All right. Who's too high?
So
who's just right? Our Goldhawks there.
Too low. And it's time. It's time. Okay, so I'll start with too high. Too high, San Francisco 49ers. I think both the Cincinnati Bengals and the Chicago Bears would run them out of the
building. We'll know about the Bears.
They're at 20. 49ers are at 20.
Bears and Niners play each other.
So that's my too high. So if you scroll down a little bit here, Harry, on the list, there's Niners at 20. And then we've got the Bengals behind them, which I think would rout that team. I think the Bears under Thomas Brown would destroy the San Francisco 49ers right now. And this is, this is just kind of a Homer Bears conversation. And I love Joe Burrow too. But yeah, that's my too high. San Francisco 49ers, that door has slammed shut. I mean, from the day we heard that Brandon Ayuk was having issues with that team, Brock Purdy, this is your last year of cheap. Christian McCaffrey, 50% of the snaps since 2020, not good. Nick Bosa, banged up. It's a lot of bad stuff there for the San Francisco 49ers.
So you're saying the window has slammed shut, not just for this year, but it's done.
I think their window is done until the next.
I disagree.
Until the next go around.
Just because
Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, you have an elite head coach. You just had an insanely good.
It was all about that core of the football team. Kyle Shanahan's a great coach. There's a lot of great coaches in the NFL. There's a few of those great coaches in the NFL. I think the core of that team is past their expiration date.
Now they did have.
They've been through too much and accomplished too little to continue with this group.
I disagree with you. I think Purdy will get his deal. They'll send Debo packing, which I think Debo's not worth the money.
He's chubby at 30.
Right. They're not worth the money anyways.
They should honestly just throw him at running back the last 5 weeks here.
They need to start investing in the interior of the defensive line.
Yep.
That's where they need to invest.
Well, they had Hargrave. He got hurt. We said it after.
He's okay anyways.
He's a good player.
He's kind of overpaid a little bit.
We said it after, I think, the Cardinals game where they dropped it right at the end, the bad comeback. We're like, hey, this isn't really the same team. The last year's 49ers team wouldn't have given up that final drive to the Cardinals.
But Bosa was out that drive too, though.
Okay. But it's just, even when he's been in, the front seven is not. No. When you lose Drayden Greenlaw, when you lose Eric Armstead, when you lose Chase Young, when you lose all they had down the stretch last year, it's not the same team. And that's unfortunately what we've seen. And then you just go through their drafts, and that's really what it is. You went from 2021 through 2023 and basically didn't get a single player worth a damn. You got like with your early round picks, the top 100 picks over that span. Trey Lance, Aaron Banks, Trey Sermon, Drake Jackson, Tyrion Davis-Price, Jair Brown, Jake Moody.
Okay, so Banks starts at left guard.
Not well, but yeah.
Okay, Brown is now starting. He's now playing. Okay, go to the next year.
Those are 3 years. That's 3 years.
3 years. Yeah, it's not good enough.
That's not good enough.
No, but they can also go back to the back end of some of those drafts and say, well, we got this guy here. This
Diablo Lenore, they got in one of those. Brock Purdy, they got in one of those. But it's still, those should be your icing on the cake picks. So the top 100 should be your build a roster. Basically, my theory is every single top 100 guy should be able to play a role on your team. And when you draft so many guys that aren't playing a role in your football team.
What round was Mason picked in?
Jordan Mason. What was he, a 7th rounder?
Yeah, I mean, they found guys in the later round. What was Hufanga picked in?
5th rounder?
No, he's hurt.
6th rounder.
But again, they've kind of offset. They've missed at the. Granted, I get what you're saying; those are premium picks, but they've kind of done a really good job of offsetting it.
And they've been very good in late rounds. Yeah. That's why I still believe, and it's a well-run organization. They draft well. But this is why
this team used to instill fear into people. When we watched them against Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl, I was like, the Chiefs are in big trouble just because of the physicality of that front on defense, both levels of it, even the third level of the defense. I haven't seen the same team this year, and you're going to have to pass Brock Purdy a treasure chest, and then you're going to be trying to rebuild this group. You're going to be trying to reload at certain skill positions, and I just don't see it happening. I love Kyle Shanahan. I think he's a great coach. I have nothing against Brock Purdy, but he's going to be damn expensive, and so are rosters, Pete.
But again, like Green is starting to play a little corner, and he's a good player. They're going to count on you. If you can get the younger guys to come in there in cheap labor and let them play around it, and still keep Trent Williams, Brock Purdy, Ayuk when he comes back, the running back is the part of the problem. They paid him. He's not on the field.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of the problem. But
we talked about it last week. I think Kyle Shanahan was misusing him after coming back. I said he was used too much. He's going to get hurt again. lo and behold, they go out in the
Go
cold.
to Germany again, huh?
Dude, he needs to go to the Swiss Alps, get used to the cold conditions.
He went to Germany,
yeah.
treatment, right? But I'm too bullish on Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
Having Brock Purdy, having Trent Williams, having Nick Bosa, because he'll be back.
Trent Williams is getting up there.
Yeah, you got a couple more years with this group.
Okay, the window hasn't slammed shut, but it's closed. It's closed, and it gently closed the other night.
It would be intriguing to me if they really, their schedule is difficult. We've seen how they've looked of late. If they really lose a bunch of games down the stretch, end up with, say, pick like 8 in the draft.
Do they let Brock walk and get another quarterback on the rookie? I called my dad last night, and I was like, the Niners need to deal. Bro, I don't know. Anybody that's on a rookie deal.
Shador will be gone by that pick 8.
Well, I'm saying, they were drafting 12th when they went up and made the move for Trey Lance, and obviously that didn't work out.
Okay, but let me ask you this:
you can move up
now.
That was basically that sowed the seeds of why they stink right now. It's because they gave up 3 first rounders for Trey Lance and then didn't backfill that roster.
Okay, right now, draft guy.
Yeah,
would you trade up to go get Shador Sanders and let Brock Purdy walk out the door? I'm not doing that.
Specific.
I think it gives you some room in that window. It could give you a little bit of room.
It's cheaper, for sure.
You get a better roster.
I think I would.
Early in the season, we were talking about Purdy carrying the team by himself. Basically,
I think I would make that play.
I wouldn't.
I like Purdy. Don't get it twisted. I have an issue with the Niners as a whole. The money that's going to have to be shelled out to all these guys. They're 30 plus. They're all injured.
Bad weather. Everybody usually looks bad in bad weather.
You know who looked great in bad weather? James Cook, Josh Allen.
Purdy looked unplayable last year against the Packers in the playoffs. Not a good Packers.
Whopper hands. Remember that commercial? The Whopper hands commercial? I can't get that. I can't eat that Whopper. My hands are too small.
What was it? What were his hand? What's his hand size?
I think it was 9 1/8.
So it's not that small.
9 1/8.
Joe Burrow's was 9.
Yeah, it's not that small.
Yeah,
it's what is so.
Okay, if Joe's are 9, then that's wild. Then why does he not have?
He's amazing. But okay, I disagree with you. I don't think the window's closed, but they have some maneuvering to do to get it back, and they got to stay healthy.
Bro, look around the NFC right now.
If they were healthy, would you even be mentioning the fact that the window might be shutting?
Yes.
They would be dominating.
No, I just have to look around the room in the NFC and see all the other bullies that have been built. The Niners were the bully for a long time, and the Eagles were too for the end of the teens. Now it's Lions, Eagles. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, and they can't even get out of their division right now.
But they also, here's another difference between the Niners and some of the other teams in that we talk about the bullies. They allowed their offensive line to become average, and it's always been average. It's always been average. Trent Williams has always been great. The rest of the group has always been average. Even when McGlinchey was there, they weren't great. He wasn't great.
He was serviceable.
McKivitz is bad. The right guard is, a kid. He's going to be a good player. The center has always been average in there. Whoever plays, from the Brunskills to the Brendels to whoever, and Banks is average. It's not a good group.
2 top 100 picks on O-line in the last 6 drafts. No,
McGlinchey is one of them.
No top 75 picks.
Yeah. See, that's
McGlinchey was
7. Yes.
Yeah, that's part of the problem.
That is definitely part of the problem, and that's when you don't have draft capital from the Trey Lance trade. That's kind of the seeds. My team that's ranked too high is the Arizona Cardinals. Great story, well coached, just not talented enough to compete with the big dogs in the NFC. In the NFL.
Who should be ahead of them? Just out of curiosity.
I think the Texans and Bucks.
Oh, the Texans and
the Rams. I think the Rams should be ahead of them too.
The Texans have issues, and
they do. I'm not debating that.
And that's not just the quarterback either. They have issues. The defense has issues as well.
What did you think about D'Amico Ryan's comments as it pertains to?
I get why he did it. He's defending his player, trying to get the suspension lower.
He victim blamed quarterbacks.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
That's.
But you understand why.
Excuse my French. That's bullshit.
That's a message. That's a message to the league to try and get that suspension to be smaller. He knows better. D'Amico Ryan's played the game.
I also contest that people are saying he said it was a late slide. That was like
an early slide.
That was when you slide.
The slide has nothing to do with it. You know what it is? The forearm to the teeth. I mean, there are times when the guy slides late and you still get a personal foul for hitting him.
Chest glance, you glance at his chest.
But he put that forearm right in his head.
That's a forearm shiver. That's what they used to do in the 80s.
And here's something else I wanted. I said this last night when I was doing our show with Baselli, and he agreed with me. There was no retaliation. What happened to an eye for an eye?
They fought.
There was a play in
There
that.
was a tussle.
No. Not. I'm talking about in the second half.
Retaliation, like a player
Like
getting beamed in baseball.
Correct. Like there was a play later in the game. Now he pulled off on it. Trayvon Walker might have killed C.J. Stroud on the sideline, but he pulled up on it. He could have hit him. But at some point, don't try and hurt somebody. You never want to see anybody try and hurt anybody. But at some point, you grab C.J. Stroud and you by the back of his jersey and you throw him 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage, get the personal foul and say, now we're even.
We remember.
That's all you have to do. They did nothing.
Remember Pedro Martinez? He gave remember, you hit my guy.
There were people, supposedly there were players in that locker room after the game that were worried about fines for retaliation. That should never happen. That's a bad look. Bad luck.
This is a guy that's fighting to prove that he's your franchise quarterback, game in, game out. There's questions about the head coach every day in Jacksonville. The one thing that should be done without question is you stand up for your guy. So when your guy gets hit like that, to your point, not only in that very moment do you need to go put a set of cleats on that dude, it needs to happen again and again and again.
Tell me if you agree with it. Tony told me, he said that he would have not only done what Evan Ingram did, but he wouldn't let him get up.
Buddy, I'd probably be in jail.
Right.
I tweeted, I said, I'm amazed. This is multiple times this year that I have been surprised that Al-Shaair made it off the field without getting 11 sets of cleats on him.
Right. He said you wouldn't let him up. You don't let him up. They let him up. Ingram hit him, and then he let him up. You don't let him up.
No.
You don't let him get to your sideline.
You don't bring the mace out for me.
Correct.